What's up, guys, and welcome back to Sex with Kat and Mark. And this week, we're going to talk all about sexting. All right, so it's going to be a bit exciting. But before we get into that, Kat, how was your week?
Honestly, very uneventful. To be honest, I have no real story for this. Mark and I were just talking off air. We're like, this has actually been the most uneventful week. We've just been hustling. That's about it. I think. Yeah, hustling too hard.
And you've been sick as well, to be fair.
I was literally, I listened a little bit to last week's episode and I sound so nasal.
I mean, you were sick. It's fine.
I was like, well,
trooping through it.
Yeah, I did. Still a good episode.
Yeah.
We got through. But
that was fun.
I mean, I don't really have a story from the last week. I mean, I was in Perth for a tour.
How is Perth? I've never been to Perth.
It's basically the Gold Coast.
It's okay.
That's the best way I can explain it.
I didn't think it'd be that exciting.
It's basically the Gold Coast without the content creators.
Okay. All right. So did you go out at all? Is there much to do as a nightlife?
I didn't. I just go there to work. Whenever I'm on tour, I just work.
Working. Yeah. Okay. That's fair.
I have a few friends that live there, so occasionally I catch up with friends. I didn't this time though because I was still kind of just recovering from my sickness. So nothing eventful this time. But other than that, I have something exciting that will be happening this weekend, I think.
Tell us.
Maybe.
Tell us about it.
I'm going to be trying to do anal for the first time.
Let's go. For
the first time in over a decade. So, I have kind of tried to do it a few times, but not proper tried. Yeah. This will be a proper try.
Perfect. Can I ask who is it with?
Another content creator.
Okay, perfect.
So, yeah.
Oh, all right. Anal OnlyFans. Let's go. Yeah. Is that all right? That's exciting.
Yeah. So,
we recently did an episode on anal,
we did. We did. And that episode inspired me to maybe
perfect. Give it a go.
Maybe repop your anal cherry. Repop my anal cherry.
All right. Well, you're gonna have to come back next week and let us know how it all went.
Oh, I absolutely will.
Yeah. And if people really want to know how it went, they can go to your OnlyFans.
People want to see it.
Yeah, exactly.
And there'll probably be a lot of bloopers.
Yeah. No, that'll be fun. Are you excited or nervous?
Yeah, more nervous.
Okay.
More nervous because I did a Twitter. So I did a Twitter status on top tips for anal prepping, and almost every single one of them was you gotta shit yourself.
Warning.
You're gonna shit yourself. Don't eat, starve. You're going to shit yourself. And I'm just oh, great. I might reconsider this then.
Yeah, I think people really focus on that when the chance of that happening is pretty low. As long as you haven't had a huge meal and you've gone to the bathroom beforehand and stuff, you'll be fine. You'll be absolutely fine. She does. By the way, everyone, she's looking at me like you're full of shit. I don't believe you whatsoever. I'm about to shit myself. No, I mean, have fun.
Next minute, I'm known as Poo Girl.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Nah, you'll have some fun, and it's enjoyable. I think you're gonna have a good time.
It is because I've done it a few times when I was younger, and I definitely enjoyed it.
You'll have a good time. All right, I'm excited to see how it goes now.
Yeah. If you want to catch that video. By the time this comes out, it might potentially already be for sale.
Yeah. All right, well, I want to come back next week and find out all about it. I'm excited to.
I want to come back next week and for me to actually have a story about it, though. We'll see.
Yeah, this week.
Not like I ended up in hospital.
Exactly.
Girl ends up in hospital for split asshole. Poo girl.
Poo girl in hospital.
In hospital for being split in two.
If it goes, this is a question I've got for you. If it goes awful, do you still post it on OnlyFans? Or are you okay, that's a miss?
I've never had anything go that awful, but I've had people tell me that they've done scenes that were just really bad and they couldn't post it.
Yeah, okay.
For whatever reason, bad lighting or just bad angles or whatnot. Yeah. But usually if something happens, usually you can just cut it out of a scene. So I've done scenes where I've hit my head or hit their head or fallen over, or things happen, things drop or whatever.
Do you have a blooper section of your OnlyFans?
I have uploaded one little video of bloopers. I should probably upload more because I have so many bloopers.
Awesome. There's
so many bloopers where people I have the most funniest blooper actually, where it was kind of recent, and it was this was when I was in Adelaide and I was filming with someone, and he was meant to give me a facial, and it just went it was fire extinguisher come, and it just went doop, 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 but it went eye, nose,
you were brutally attacked.
Nose again. It was up my nose. It was chung, 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 and then it was chung. in my eyes,
Jesus
and I was
Christ.
like blind, couldn't breathe because it was up my nose, and I like fell over. And then in the video, there's just me like attacked, like dying. Like,
see, I like that. I feel it's very relatable, right? If people see, because obviously you got some amazing scenes, but if people can go to the blooper section and be like, okay, this is also just some what happens during sex.
that
I
is
think it's
exactly.
fun.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
it was.
It's cool.
I nearly lost an eye. I had like
That
pink
was
eye for
dangerous.
that whole day.
It was
Yeah.
dangerous, yeah.
It was dangerous.
No, it's a health
I
hazard.
nearly lost an
I
eye.
know. I'm glad you survived.
I know.
I'm glad we got
And I
you here
messaged
today
his
with
girlfriend
this.
after. I was like, yo, RIP your cervix, man. Like,
Yeah.
and then I was telling him the story about the guy that had like the longest,
Exactly,
furthest
yeah.
ejaculation. I was like, yo, you need to measure this shit. This is some superhuman.
Yeah, exactly.
Coming
You
right
might beat the
there.
record.
Yeah,
We gotta-
I'm telling you,
gotta
it was
get him
like
on the show.
choom,
That's
choom.
awesome.
And it just kept going. Oh, God.
Dangerous.
Anyway,
Yeah, my week. Yo.
yeah,
Exact
it's
same.
uneventful.
When I got here, I was like, Kat, has there really been a week since we last did a podcast? Because it feels like about 3 hours. It feels like I've gone home, did a little bit of work, and then came back and you're like,
Oh,
hey,
you
Mark,
missed
do you have a
me.
story for this week?
You
and
missed
I'm like,
me that much.
What? Yeah, exactly. I'm like, what do you mean a story for this week? Has it been a week? So literally, I've gone out one night and just been fucking grinding the other days and just working. So, but
And not making a Twitter.
I'm not making a Twitter. I'm sorry about
Well, actually, you made one and then it got banned.
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. There'll be a new Twitter unban made very shortly. All right, I'll be getting on there.
Yeah,
Because
I'm gonna make. Oh, yeah,
this weekend.
okay, yep.
this weekend.
Yep.
What are we doing, Kat?
GC trip.
We're going to Gold Coast.
Yes.
We're gonna be house buddies for a
Oh
minute
my
there.
God,
3
yes,
days.
3 nights. We're
I
going to be
know.
housemates.
It's going to be fun. We're going for Robbie Oz's sex party that's going up on there, and it's what's the theme again? Playboy. Playboy. So
yeah,
after
the girls
this,
and I
actually,
have full outfits.
yeah, I know. So after this, I'm going to get an outfit.
Oh, we should have messaged Robbie and been like, "What are you wearing?" So you and him could have like coordinated a
Should
bit.
we like
maybe.
match? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
I
Well, me
guess
and the
every
girls are all
guy-
matching. So
Well,
Katie ordered like matching outfits for me and
Oh,
like
that's
all the
cute.
girls
Yeah.
doing this shit.
That's cute.
They want us to come at midday, by the way, so you're gonna have to wake up early.
Oh damn. Okay. All right, we'll make that happen. I'll be tired.
Well,
we'll
you'll
make
be
it happen.
living with me, so you're gonna wake up to me jumping on your bed.
Oh man, I'm already okay. I'll need to change my sleep schedule tonight. I'm gonna have to. It's like I'm gonna go to bed early tonight, prepared for that shit. But yeah, I think every guy's gonna have to wear the same thing, right? They're gonna have like a robe with like a sailor hat or something. Playboy. I assume that's what's happening.
A
But
sailor hat.
yeah, it's like the Hugh Hefner look, right?
He doesn't wear a sailor hat.
Yeah, he does.
What?
Come on. Like if I Google Hugh Hefner, I
No,
guarantee
he's in a
you.
robe.
Yeah, with a sailor hat. Let me show you. Hugh Hefner. All right, let's go to Google Images. And I guarantee. First picture.
Oh,
Second
get
picture.
fucked.
Third picture. Yeah. It's his look.
When?
Since always.
Oh my God, Mandela effect
Yeah.
right there. I do
Yeah.
not remember that at all. I remember him in a robe.
Yeah, and a robe. That's his look. So anyway, I'm probably gonna go robe and sailor hat. I guess that's what every fucking guy's gonna be wearing.
And a pipe?
Yeah, I gotta go.
Yeah, you gotta wear the pipe.
I was considering just dyeing my hair white and going all out, but I think that's a bit far.
No,
think
I
that's a
don't
bit too
think
much.
that's far enough.
Oh, you reckon?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah. I will do this for you
All
right now.
Let's go. All right, so maybe
Can we get some spray paint?
maybe we can get like when I say dye, I didn't mean actually dye.
Oh,
like
I will dye
I mean like
I'll actually dye
the hair
it.
color spray
Yeah,
shit.
okay, yeah. Oh my God,
Yeah, maybe
fuck.
we'll do it. All right, we'll see what happens. We'll post up a photo to our Instagram and
Yeah.
my new Twitter when it happens.
And
But
we've
that'll
never
be the plan.
been roommates before, have we?
I know this is.
Oh,
and
no.
by the
Okay,
way,
so Mark and I did Sail Croatia together.
oh, we did. Yeah.
I wouldn't really
Before
count
you
that
left.
as being No, Sail Croatia, not the alien.
Sail,
But,
yeah,
so
sorry.
twice
We've
we were
been on a
roommates.
couple of adventures.
So yeah, we did Sail Croatia where we
Yes.
we weren't actually
We were
roommates.
boatmates.
We were like boatmates.
We were on the same
It was kind of like living in the same building.
Yeah, it was like a hostel on a boat.
Yeah.
It's essentially what it is.
And then we were boatmates again for that Ailey beach boat, but I only
Yep.
lasted one night. We were actually kind of bunk buddies because
We
you
were actually. We were
I
bunk
was
buddies.
above you.
Yeah,
We were bunk
we
buddies.
were.
I
Yeah.
only lasted one night.
So we've done this shit before.
No, not really. We haven't bunked in a house.
That's true. That's
or
true.
a room before.
I'm sure we'll be okay. Hopefully.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
If this is the
No,
last
I
show
think it's
ever, you know it didn't work out well. And sorry guys, no more sex with Kat and
Sex
Mark.
with Kat
They
and
spent
Mark
3
finale.
nights in the same house. It didn't work out.
And now we hate each other.
It's so funny.
Could you imagine?
I couldn't, but I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be fine.
No, we'll be fine. You're asleep all day anyway.
Exactly. You can't be upset when I'm just asleep in bed. I think we'll be sweet. All right. Well, let's jump into it, shall we? So this week we're talking about sexting, and this is a subject that I fucking love because we always talk about on this show about building it up, having foreplay, building anticipation, having emotion before sex. Like, this is what leads to an amazing sexual experience. And for me, the best way to do this is through sexting. If you can, as a guy, sext a girl beforehand and get her turned on and ready for sex, it's going to be amazing. And as a girl, I think girls just love receiving this for one. And some girls, I imagine, also like jumping in on the sexting train. We'll speak to Kat to see if she feels the same way about that. But definitely from a guy's perspective, and if you're a girl sitting out there, maybe you want to send this to your guy and be like, what's up? Maybe send some more sex, motherfucker. Then that's also an option. But let's start with that, Kat. How do you feel about sexting, either receiving or giving?
Oh, okay. Wait, I've got a question for you first. So
yeah, sure.
What even is sexting? Is sexting like sexting, like, you know, really sexting,
question.
or is flirting also sexting?
That's a good question.
I like flirting, like a little bit of cheeky flirting.
Okay.
I don't like sexting. Like, I don't like the whole. I think we spoke on an episode. It was either last week or the week before, and I said I had done my first sexting, like
you
since high school.
You seem to enjoy it though.
Yeah, but now I'm just over it. Like,
now it's too much.
It was kind of.
I enjoyed it for a week.
I enjoyed it for like 5 minutes when I was like, oh, I haven't done this since high school. It was I think I enjoyed the nostalgia of like, oh, I haven't done this since high school. And then I was like, okay, I feel like I remember why I haven't done this since high school.
And why's that?
So now I'm just like, oh, come on, like, we're adults now. Come on, just message me normally.
Just fuck me, okay? We're adults. Hurry up.
Yeah, just message me normally and then come over and sing with me. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think this is actually a really good point. It's one of the points I want to bring up.
Yeah, this is what I want to. Can we clarify what it is?
To me, sexting is your messaging about the sexual experience or leading up to it.
Yeah,
right?
so like describing sexual acts.
Right?
It's not flirting.
It's not flirting.
Yeah, okay.
Flirtation. You can have some flirtatious banter, and that's fine. But I wouldn't consider that sexting. To me, sexting is about the act or leading to the act,
talking about what you're going to be doing or what you want to be receiving.
Exactly.
Right?
And it might start with something like, "Oh my god, stop! You're giving me terrible thoughts." Right? It might just be that. It doesn't have to be, "I'm going to fuck the shit out of you." It could just start with something like that.
I would think that, "Oh, you're giving me terrible thoughts." I would say that that's more flirting rather than
But the
sexting.
point is, it's leading into the sex.
It's leading into the sexting.
What are you going to say?
That's the opening of the sexting.
Yeah.
But then if I just say, oh, okay, like, sorry, what are you doing? What are you doing? Me too.
Because if I say
HBU,
say you're a girl, right, and you post up an Insta story, or you send me a photo. Like, say you're into a guy, right? Not just some fucking random, but say you're really into this guy. And then you're chatting, you're flirting back and forth. And then, I don't know, maybe you send him a selfie or some shit, right? Is that something you do or no?
I mean, I would send a selfie sometimes.
Yeah. And then he says, oh my God, stop it. You're giving me such fucking terrible thoughts right now. Or, oh my God, stop it. I'm at work. I can't be looking at this, right? You're going to enjoy that, or maybe say, what thoughts? Right? And that's where he can lead it in a little bit, right? Because as you mentioned, some girls don't want to be sitting there middle of the day chatting to a guy and then suddenly he's like, I want to fuck you.
He's a dick pic.
Yeah, it's like, slow down, right? Yeah, it's like, it's a little bit too much.
Yeah.
So the lead in is one of the most important aspects. And I think that's super important. And it also, I like what you brought up with, it can't be too much, right? Like, if you're just sitting there and you're just constantly sexting all day, it loses the excitement. So you always want to keep your sexting, let's say, pretty brief overall. And also don't end with, oh yeah, I'm going to fuck you. Like, I always want to end with, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. And the rest you're going to have to wait for. So that's usually how I like to structure the sexting. So there's still something you want at the end of it. And it doesn't feel like, fuck this. All this guy wants to do is fuck me. And there's all this messaging and he just seems so horny.
Yeah.
Then it loses the
I think it's a bit overwhelming, honestly. Yeah. Like, I like a little cheeky flirt. I mean, you know, okay, maybe I might send like a cute pic, looks a bit hot every now and then, but it's not like I don't really want to. I don't want to pick back. Like I don't.
Oh yeah,
like you know what I mean? If I send you a little sexy pic, like that's just me being cheeky. But like, don't send me an unsolicited. That is not an invitation for a photo back.
Yep.
Please don't do that.
Public service announcement from Kat: do not send unsolicited dick pics.
Or just, you know what? I don't want a shirtless pic. Yeah, I don't want a gym pic. I don't even want a pic of your face.
Yeah.
Don't even be like, oh my God, hey, I'm at work today. Yeah. The only unsolicited photos I will accept is if you are actually not in the photo.
Yeah, like, maybe like a cat, kitten, dog.
Or like, what are you doing? Sends photo of the beach. Yeah. Acceptable.
Okay.
What did you make for dinner? Sends photo of dinner. Acceptable. If your face is in the photo of you with the dinner, unacceptable. Yeah,
because it feels a bit fucking try hard in a way.
It's just like, get out of the picture. Yeah. Like, just show me your dinner.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Look, I'll put it out to you. Girls have different tastes. Yeah, there will be some girls.
I think girls are allowed to be in the pictures they send. It's just it's just a turn off when guys are just sending you pictures of themselves. It's like,
and look, girls have different. There will be some girls that will ask for pics, and that's fine. Send it down. Right?
If asked.
Yeah, if asked, that's fine. But don't send some random fucking. The worst is the mirror selfie. The mirror gym selfie. Do not send those, guys. It just doesn't look good.
Just any random unsolicited selfies is just random.
Weird vibes. Yeah.
It is weird because it's just like, why are you sending me this random photo of you?
Agreed. But let's get back to sexting for a sec. So public service announcement done. All right, no more random dick pics. But
I don't know if we stress the public service announcement hard enough. Do not send any unsolicited photos, just of any nature, maybe.
We need like our editor to put like an alarm over the top of that. Like, it's like flashing lights and shit.
No DPs. None.
Okay. We'll put this at like the start of the segment. Right. Yeah. So that's sort of, but I think honestly, the right amount of sexting in a very calibrated way to a girl that actually likes the guys and into it really can set up the environment for great sex. And I think the other thing it does is it's also a way to, let's say, build some trust as well and set some expectation of what's to come. Because if I have a girl coming over and she knows I'm into BDSM, which is often the case, some of them that have never done it before might be thinking like, what the fuck? Like they've seen some porn, like they don't know what to expect at all. So they're like, what am I walking into? Am I about to walk in, be tied up, gagged, beat up? Like, I don't know what's happening, right? So if I'm able to sext a little bit and, you know, I could lead in with something like, stop it, like you're giving me these terrible thoughts. What thoughts? I'm just thinking what I want to do to you later today. She's like, what is it? And then I can actually go in and explain roughly what it's going to look like, right?
But so that's
at least now she knows what to expect. Of course.
Obviously, she's inviting the sexting by being like, oh, tell me more.
Exactly. And you always need to check, right? Something I'd even say is, hey, maybe.
Are you sure you want to know?
Exactly. Like, maybe you're not ready for this. Yeah. I'm not sure if you can handle it.
I like that because that's always like, bitch, I'm ready.
Yeah. It's a little explicit. Are you sure? Like, these are all things you can say because if the girl's like, and by the way, this can happen where the girl's like, actually, no, I don't want to know, right?
Like, it's like, yo, I'm at work.
Yeah, you've just saved yourself from sending a paragraph of sexting where she's going to fucking block you. And so it's about getting that permission without saying, hey, I want to send you a sext. Is that okay?
Yeah, like, you want as much consent on record.
Yeah, but it's like, imagine you would a text being like, hey, I want to send a sext to you. Is that okay? You'd be like, what the fuck? Like, this is weird. But if you say like, hey.
Well, there can still be consent in sexting. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Because that's why unsolicited dick pics are a problem because that is non-consensual.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You can get consent in a smoother way.
Yeah.
So what we spoke about, like,
so exactly like how you said it, that sounds good.
Yeah.
And it kind of sounds tempting because like I can handle it.
Exactly. That's the thing, right? It's already creating a bit of back and forth.
Yeah.
So it's so how about we talk about how to sex then? So we spoke about leading into it, getting permission. So let's assume that's the case. Let's assume this girl is down.
Let's assume this girl is DTS.
Yes.
Down to
sex. Yes.
DTS.
She's DTS, Dan, this girl. All right.
Just for all of our listeners, I am not DTS. So I'm absolutely not. I'm DTF, but not DTS.
I don't believe it. I reckon,
it's true.
I reckon with the right circumstance, you'd be DTS. I reckon you would be.
I did a little bit the other week, but now I'm just like, nah, I'm over it now.
But this is the thing. Like, I think with the right guy and the right amount, you'd like it. Because we saw the other week, right? You enjoyed it.
Yeah, when I wrote my little essay. No, yeah, look, I did for 5 minutes. For 5 minutes, I did. Yeah. It felt nostalgic, but yeah, no, look, you know what? Just fuck me.
just fuck me. Okay, fair. All right, fair. So, all right, so let's talk about. Let's go back to last week because we need to chat to viewers about how to do this right. Right? When someone's DTS, I like that term. So what do you typically like in sexting then?
Nothing. None of it. The absence of sexting. I like my sexting.
Do you like erotica? Do you like reading erotica?
No, I've never read erotica.
But you've written some, right?
I wrote some, yeah. I've never read any though. Other than I watched like one of the first 50 Shades of Grey.
But what do you like to read in erotica then if you were going to do it, or would you like to write in erotica?
God, I don't know. I've never read erotica, so like I wouldn't even know if I would even like it or not.
How about I go through some of the points that I teach in sexting, and then you can give me your thoughts on it.
Okay.
Yeah, if you agree or disagree.
I mean, I feel like I would know how to sex because I used to sex in high school a lot when I was only having sex whenever my mum would drive me to go and see my boyfriend, which is usually once a week, like on the weekend, because we didn't go to the same school and we didn't live in the same area. So it was when mum would drive me on a Saturday to go see my boyfriend is when we would have sex. So but all throughout, I used to have to wait a week for that.
Yeah, yeah.
And we were going through puberty. We were horny AF, man.
But did that not make it better when you had to wait?
It did.
Exactly.
It did. Well, see, this is why I like long distance now as well, because it builds it up when you can only fuck them when you go and go visit them or they visit you.
That's the point of sexting. So if you were to be like, fuck me right now, I'd be like, no, you have to wait. Right? You'd probably logically be like, fuck this guy, I hate it. But at the same time, emotionally, you'd be like, oof. Right? Yeah, I want to chase a little bit. All right, so let's start. First thing is don't be too technical. Now, what I mean by that,
I want to wrap myself in your fallopian tubes.
Exactly. Yeah, your fallopian tubes are so hard right now.
I want to pound your cervix and wrap myself.
Exactly. I'm going to take my penis and insert it into your vagina
and penetrate that shit.
Exactly. So you need women.
Could you imagine?
Women are going to like different terms and be turned off by different terms, right? So there might be a girl out there that has a medical kink and likes terminology, but let's speak about the 99% of girls and what they like. They don't often like the word cunt, right? They don't often like the word moist. So you need to start thinking about the words you'd like to use. And if you're too technical, and as I mentioned, like, you know, using like medical terminology,
so you meant the C word and you meant moist. I didn't even think of that. I was literally thinking fallopian tubes, like penile glands. That's what I was thinking.
Well, no, 100%.
When you said technical.
No, that's what I mean by technical. But on a side note, it's like, with that frame of mind, thinking what words do women like and don't like, they often don't like too technical, and they often don't like too, let's say, disgusting or like gross, like moist.
Piss.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Please refrain. Okay, I'll circle back to that one.
Childish words as well. Like, what are some childish words to call your dick or pussy? Excuse me. What are some childish words to call your dick and pussy? Yeah, exactly. Like, you don't want to be using like, I want to fuck you for JJ or something. Like, let's keep it mature. Yeah. So you're gonna have to keep it mature, right? Don't be too gross and don't be too technical. So start thinking about the types of
moist. What's wrong with moist though?
A lot of girls find it gross.
It is a bit. Makes me think of like moss.
Yeah, exactly.
I think when I hear moist, I think like humid moss.
Exactly.
Mossy.
Whereas wet sounds better.
Yeah, wet.
Right? So if I want to describe that, wet sounds better than like, hey, I love how moist you are right now. It's just gross.
Right. Yeah. Like, I bet you're wet right now.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Wet sounds a little better. All right, next point.
Dripping. What about dripping? Dripping okay?
Yeah.
I bet you're dripping right now.
Yeah, you're dripping all over my cock. It's so hot. Yeah. All right, let's go to point number 2. Learn their sext language. And what I mean by that is...
Oh my God, how many is there?
Every girl... Well, it's the same as your sex language, let's say. Because every girl wants to be fucked a certain way. And you want to use that in your sexting. So if I have a girl, for example, Kat, that is, let's say, more vanilla and likes more sensual sex, I'm not going to be like, yo, I'm going to bend you over my desk. I'm going to take my paddle. I'm going to slap it against your ass till it's red raw. That's not going to be my sexting. She's going to be like, this is fucked. It's going to be more, I'm going to run my lips across your body. I'm going to kiss around your nipples, blah, blah. It's going to be more sensual. So you need to think about actually what type of sex will this girl like before you sext. If you just have this one thing that you send every single girl, it's not going to work. You need to make it about her. So you're going to have to think about, or at least have some knowledge about what she likes.
Because they would want to hear the kind of sex that they would want to have.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Number 3, use proper grammar and spelling.
Oh, yeah. Can I just point out that should be carried through in all of your in all of your dealings.
Yes.
Like if you're a 10 but you can't spell, you are a 0.
Yeah.
Like that's the hard truth.
And this is so underrated because guys don't understand this. Like, and I used to be the same. From the guy's point of view, I was like, what does it matter if I have some spelling fucking mistakes?
It matters the world.
It matters.
It will take you from a 10 to a 0,
I
am telling you.
Yep,
There's an automatic just not reply from me. You were left on scene from me. So
grammar check and spell check your sext before you send it, because and look, use full stops, use commas. Girls, it's so underrated. Girls find this hot and it sounds stupid, but girls find it hot if you just text with some proper grammar and spelling. It's crazy.
It's not stupid. That should be the norm. I don't understand why anyone would not do that. I'm a master of creative writing student.
Straight up.
Punctuation gets me wet. Or you don't need to sex me. You just write in proper punctuation. I am wet from that.
Straight up. And this is most girls, not just creative writing.
Talk to me about what you're having for dinner, but you use those commas and full stops exactly where they need to be.
Those semicolons.
Man, drop a semicolon, I'll be dropping my pants.
Let's go.
That's why, yes. Mate,
next
see,
point.
that's like the dick pic of the adult world. Is dropping them semicolons or those hyphens. Oof.
Damn.
Whew, I'm getting hot now already.
Next point is, it needs to make sense chronologically. So what I mean by this is sometimes I've read some sext where the guy,
like the fucking comes first and the eating out like comes second.
It just doesn't make sense. Or he's like tied her up to the bed and then taken off her top and stuff. And it's like, it doesn't make sense. Like if you're a girl trying to visualize all this, it just doesn't make sense. Like, or she's up against the kitchen counter and then next minute you're getting the pillow and putting over her face. And you're like, hang on, when do we go to the bedroom? And so if the girl can't visualize it and make sense of it, it's not erotic. It's not going to be sexy. She's going to be so caught up on like, this doesn't make any sense.
That's a good point. I never even thought of that.
Yeah. And so it's often something that guys miss as well. Like they're just so caught up on like making it sexy that they forget the actual order of things. So yeah, something to keep in mind, something to be careful of.
I never even thought of that, but that is so true.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
sometimes I'll have to go back.
Much, so.
Sometimes I'll have to go back and be like, oh, hang on.
Oh, yeah, proofread that
I didn't take her clothes off. When did this happen?
Like, wait a minute, her jeans are still on. How did my dick get in there?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That doesn't make any sense.
Proofread and there's spell check.
There's spell checks.
Like, isn't
on
there?
All your phones. You can have apps. I use a keyboard app that has like special grammar and spell checks on my computer. I Grammarly, like, I'm all over that shit because
it makes girls wet, man.
Exactly.
I'm telling you.
Exactly.
That's all you need to sex with me. You want to sex me? Yeah. Send me a sentence that's got a semicolon in
exactly.
it.
Oof. All right. Next point is be descriptive. Because something else I notice in guys is they forget to talk about the senses. So they will say, hey, yeah, like I'm going to take you home. I'm going to rip your clothes off. I'm going to fuck you so hard. But it's hard for the girl to emotionally put herself in that situation. So you want to describe as many senses as you can all the way through. So instead of being like, I'm just going to throw you on the bed and fuck you so hard, is talk about it. Like, I'm going to wrap my hand around your throat. I'm going to throw you down on the bed. You're going to feel your heart start to race faster and faster. If you're talking about coming, like as you come, you're going to feel this sensation run across your body. Like you need to start thinking about every little sense and describe it in more detail. So this is again where you can write your sext up and then go back and think, what can I add to this? What is the girl thinking? What does she see in the room? What does she feel in the room? Like, what does she hear? Like it's, you could say, I start to hear you breathe heavier and heavier as you get closer to coming. Like these are all little details that, like we mentioned in the grammar and spelling, which is like a small little detail that adds to the bigger picture. And if the girl can immerse herself in that experience, she's going to get so much more turned on than if you were just like, I'm going to fuck you really hard.
Yep. Yep.
Makes sense.
I can totally agree with that. Yeah.
Perfect.
So just from creative writing lens, I'm doing my master of creative writing at the moment, and some of like the prompts that we do, like if we're trying to, like they teach us how to write like more creatively and how to describe things. And so something that you can do is to even just like go to the place that you're going to be having sex. Like if you're going to be taking this girl over, go stand in the kitchen and be like, look around the kitchen and be like, what is here? Like, okay, if I was actually going to fuck her here right now, what would be happening? Like, and then you can like look and see like, oh, okay, there's this thing here and there's, this here. And I might tie her up with the tape, this cloth.
Yeah.
That's here. And then, or in the bedroom, there's this thing in the drawer. Like, so when you're actually kind of standing in that spot, then you can kind of more immerse yourself in it. Like, I mean, if you're on the train, it might be a little bit harder.
I like that.
But like, so maybe, or even you can just, just stand in it.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Like, so go to your room and visualize exactly what you want to do and look around and immerse yourself in that experience so you can actually, or even if you've had sex, like a lot of the time when I come up with my sexting, I'm thinking about my past experience and bringing that into my future context. So the other thing you can do is go into your bedroom and think, okay, the last time I had sex, how did that look like? What did I do there? And basically bring that into it. So I like that idea of immersing yourself in there.
Yeah, because a lot of writers, if they're writing about anything, they will go to that place. Like if I'm writing about Paris, how can I write about Paris if I'm
great point.
Not there, if I haven't been there or I don't know what it's like. So it's kind of easier to kind of, write about something when you're there and doing it.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I like that. All right, my next point is about timing. Because if you message a girl, let's say we've used our bait, we'll call it bait, right? Or our consent. And we've said, hey, I'm not sure if you can handle it. She's like, I can fucking handle it. You're like, it's very explicit. She's like, hit me. You don't then want to send like a fucking 1,000 word sext to her, just like boom in a text message. You want to time it and like slow feed that a little bit. So you're like, well, first I was thinking about XYZ, right? I was thinking about you coming over in this little tight dress, what I was going to do, blah, blah, blah. And then add ... So it allows her to be like, what's next, right? So it creates this timing and engagement where you're just not like a spam of like 1,000 words. Because the minute you see a wall of text as a girl, it's just all sexting. You're like, okay, what the fuck, right?
Yeah.
So I like to split it up and time it a little bit and have the girl wanting more at each stage of that sext. What do you think of that? Yeah,
so like just to clarify, so like the first thing would be like, oh, okay, you come over in like a little tight dress. I mix you up a cocktail and...
Yeah, so you could say, I mix you up a cocktail. I get really close. I see you look up at me with those submissive eyes, knowing exactly what you want. I then take my hands, wrap it around your neck and pin you against the wall. I hear like a gasp escape your lips.
Is that not too far too soon? That sounds too far too soon to me. Like
No?
Okay.
No.
All right.
As in, but the point of it now is, and then I ...
Okay.
Right? So I don't mean timing
that sounds like a lot of sexting in the first message.
No, it's like 2 paragraphs.
Okay.
If anything.
So kind of just kissing.
Yeah. When I say content, I'm talking about the wall of text, not so much. Because you could start off with...
would you start off with the fucking straight away or not?
No.
To the fucking.
Yeah,
so start off with a bit of kissing or foreplay. Okay.
Exactly, right?
That's what I wanted to clarify.
Yeah. Because, look, you could, for argument's sake, start off with, you're on my bed naked, blah, 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 depending where the stage of your like flirtation is at. Right. So it really depends on the dynamic. Because if this is a girl that you've been dating, so you've been seeing her for like 4 months, right? And you're like, hey, I want to introduce some sexting. I want to spice it up a little bit. And then you say, hey, last night was so much fun. I'm thinking about what I'm going to do to you tonight. Then you probably don't have to have this whole like, I meet you at the door, blah, blah, blah.
Okay. I compliment your outfit. Like,
exactly. Right. So it's going to really depend on the girl and the context. But when I say the timing, and what I'm really talking about is split your texts up. That's really what I'm trying to get at.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. Interesting. All right. Next.
And then my last point here is you need to calibrate a little bit, right? So another reason why you can split it up is a girl might message as you're doing this and saying, that's so fucking hot, tell me more.
Yeah, okay.
Right? Or sometimes you'll get, especially the BDSM side of things, if you're like, I'm going to spank you with my paddle, she's like, is that all you've got? Right? Or I can take more than that. So now you need to calibrate. Or the girl might say, paddle? What the fuck? That's too much. right? And then the rest of your sexting is going to have to be bringing it back a little bit. So just keep in mind, don't be so fucking just, I'm going to send this sext and this is exactly what I'm going to do and I don't care what the girl fucking replies. Think about what she's saying and just calibrate a little bit towards that.
Okay, that makes sense.
All right, there we go. So that's my sexting tips. If you're what is it? DTS.
Do you have a course?
Yeah, so I do. In the course, one of the segments is dirty talk. Yep. So in that, I go through sexting tips, dirty talking tips. I have a video of me dirty talking with a girl, and also a scene of us dirty talking.
Oh, okay. So, all right, I have a couple notes about it as well. Okay, well, yeah, the first one was no dick pics, which we've already touched on. Yes. Yeah, the build up, the don't get straight into it. That was my next one, which we already covered. But so these are a few more that are probably, more girl and then a little bit more specific, maybe. So, first one, don't do it all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I cannot stress that enough. Please talk to us about other things too. If all you want to do is sext, it is a no from me and it'll be a no from most girls because that'll just show like, okay, this is clearly all he fucking thinks about. Yeah. And if this is all he's talking to me about, who else is he? Can he talk to other girls normally?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, so that would be what I would be thinking. And it's just boring talking about the one thing. It's boring about talking about anything all the time. Like, even if we're talking about food, if all you do is talk about food, that's like pretty just boring. It's just like, talk to me about other shit too. So there's a time and a place. So don't do it all the time. Okay, I also cannot stress this one enough as well. Do not flirt in a professional setting. Be absolutely 100% positively sure that this flirtation is like reciprocated before you start bringing out any flirting or any sexting. Yep. Whether that be people you work with, people you're collabing with, sex workers are included in this. Yeah. So this is the next point that I cannot stress enough. Just because someone is a creator or a sex worker, that doesn't mean they are DTS.
Sorry, this goes back to getting
we may be DTF, but we may not necessarily be DTS.
Yeah, no, fair.
So I've like cut off working with a lot of people because like we've tried to organize collabs and they've just gone into sexting and it's like, what the fuck am I?
Yeah, because
we're trying to work together.
Yeah, it's a weird line. Because your work involves sex, right? But it's under the professional guise of, okay, we're doing a shoot and doing a scene together, right?
And like the most that it would go to in terms of like texting would be like, oh, okay, what scenes do you want to do? But it would not be sexting. It would be like a rundown of the scene. It'd be
this is what we'll do, this is what we'll do. It's very X, professional, Y, Z, structured.
And then, what do you think? Oh, okay, yeah, cool, whatever. Yeah. It's not sexting.
Yeah, there's a clear distinction between personal life. Yeah, and so that
happens to me, and it doesn't just happen to me. It happens to a lot of girls that people just think that content creators and sex workers are just DTS. No, we are not. We are professionals. Yeah. If you want to work with us, please message us normally.
I mean, I would argue that you're probably less DTS because it is a professional context.
We're absolutely not. None of us are DTS.
It's like, you're at work as an accountant and your accountant buddy is like, hey, let's do a call about next week's project, blah, blah. And then you're like, oh, yeah, you'd like that, wouldn't you? Also, shit. It's like, what the fuck? You're at work. Right?
Yes, exactly. Like, you wouldn't do that to your colleague at, in accounting or at a law firm.
No, I get you.
Or whatever. Yeah. You wouldn't do that. Or, okay, if you would do that, it would be, this is why I said you have to absolutely 100% be sure that it is.
Yeah, there's going to be a lead up to it. It's going to be like some flirtation.
No. There has to be, you have to be kind of into each other.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't just.
There's going to be flirtation.
You don't just start sexting people. So, that can also apply to, I guess, just any girl you're talking. If you're just talking to a girl that maybe you met at a club, but you're not sure if she likes you or not, don't just start going into the sexting if you're not even sure she's even into you.
Yeah. It's going to be flirtation first, then sexting.
Definitely be professional, guys. If you work with someone, especially just don't assume that someone being a sex worker means that they're DTS.
Yeah, cool. Sounds good.
Okay. So this goes on to a story that I think I mentioned last week. So if you're sexting with a girl, do not bring up their friends and family into the sexting.
What?
Do you remember how I said that I had that one guy that kept saying that he wanted to have a threesome with me and my friend?
Oh, yes.
And I think that he thought that was a way of sexting me by saying, oh, yeah, I want to fuck you and your best friend. No, because that was a no for me. We no longer talk, me and this guy. No. So that ended things really quickly.
This goes into sex language, right? Like, it's going to be very rare for a girl to want some sexting where it's like, I'm going to fuck your friends.
And all of you and your sister.
I'm going to see you in the corner and make you watch every little bit of it.
Please don't do that.
That's awesome.
So, from experience, it is not sexy when you bring friends and family into things.
Yeah, that might ruin the
don't do that. Don't do that. So I think so. This one I think goes on from what you were saying before as well, which is so I said kind of maybe try to figure out her kinks first. So like
exactly.
I mean, telling me you want to piss on me or
if that's not what you're into,
eat my feet or something like that might not be
fair.
Okay, cool. And then I just thought, which you said this as well before. I was like, if you want, if you don't know where to start, well, there's your course, or just read some erotica maybe.
Yeah, erotica this is the best tip for guys because. This goes for dirty talk as well, which we could probably do another episode on. We should. Because
I'm currently practicing my dirty talk. I'm doing a lot of porn watching and note taking, and I'm like, Lana Road said what?
It's just the best way to learn, honestly, is erotica. If you read, it's going to help with your sexting because, as I said, like the little descriptive words aren't natural to you, but if you start reading erotica, it becomes a little bit normalized. And it's going to help your dirty talk be on no end, right? So I think listening to, reading erotica, but also listening to it. There are audiobooks that have it. There are apps that have it. We can put some links up.
So with the erotica audiobooks, is there like moaning and panting or is it just like a sexy voice that's just reading it?
It's just a sexy voice. There's a bit of both.
So there's no like screaming girl in the background?
No, typically not.
Whips cranky?
Yeah, typically not. There are different types though. So some there will be, but typically it's just a male or a female reading it out.
In a sexy voice.
In a sexy voice. Right. So there's different apps where you can choose different authors essentially. So you can, if you like English accent, for example, and you want to listen to that, you can listen to that. So you can mix it up a little bit, but I think it's fucking great. It increases your sexual vocabulary beyond no end. And it very much helps with not only your sexting, but also your dirty talk. So that would be my number one tip, 100%. And oftentimes you might feel silly dirty talking or sexting for the first time because you're like, oh, what if the girl doesn't like this? I feel silly. It feels like it's a very vulnerable spot to put in. But if you start by practicing someone else's words, if you start by reading erotica and it's not your words, you feel a little bit less silly when you start to initiate it. So some great tips there. Check it out. Have some fun. Yeah. Sounds good. All right. And what should we go to next?
The question?
Yeah, sure. All right, so let's go to question of the week. This time, Kat, you have one from an audience member.
I do.
So let's hear it.
So the question of this week is, this actually came to me through Instagram. So Thank you to everybody who submitted questions to us over Instagram. There was a few more. So this one I thought is probably a bit more media that we could talk about on the show. We did get a few more questions, but we can do those on a TikTok at some point.
Sounds good.
So this question was like, why is there a stigma about men getting plastic surgery, but there isn't really one around women getting plastic surgery, which I thought was a bit of an interesting philosophical type of question.
Yeah,
Very deep.
It is.
I like it. Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Lots of thoughts, to be honest. I don't think that men should, the first thing I'll say is, okay, well, yes, I guess there is a stigma about it. Like you don't really see as many men doing plastic surgery and probably, the society would maybe think that to be a bit more unusual or a bit more strange than like a woman getting something done. But me personally, I've had plastic surgery done and I have no issue with guys getting plastic surgery. I know a few guys that have had nose jobs or have gotten Botox or they get laser, or not really plastic surgery, but I guess it's still a cosmetic procedure.
Exactly.
So I know a few guys that get like laser or brow sculpting or beard sculpting. I met this one guy as well that he did the hair transplant thing. And I remember asking him about that and he was telling me that like he got a lot of hate from it by people being like, oh my God, like why would you do that for? Like who cares? And he just said to me, he's like, I don't give a fuck what people say because I have like so much more confidence from it now. And that Like, so, I mean, they can say whatever they want, but it makes me more confident, right? And I find that just tends to be the thing with any cosmetic surgery. Like, even with me, with the procedures I've had, there were so many people that are like, oh, don't do it. But when I feel like if you're going to get cosmetic surgery, do it for you. I think that so this is just another thing, just coming from my own experience about getting like cosmetic procedures done. No one even fucking notices. So that's the first thing. Like, if I didn't tell you that I had a nose job, would you have even noticed that I had a nose job? No, you wouldn't. Like, if I didn't say, oh, I have lip filler, people wouldn't know.
The boobs I could tell.
When have you seen my boobs?
I've seen your boobs. Thank you very much.
When?
Don't know if we can put that in.
Yeah, we can beat that out. But oh, you did. I thought about that. But some people think my titties are real.
Yeah, I think with titties, I mean, some guys might not be able to tell. I can tell fake titties. But
I can too, but like some people just think that they're real.
But also, I don't think it's a problem that you can tell. Like, there's some cosmetic procedures where you would like to think, oh, I hope no one really notices that it's fake. Titties is something where I'm like, I want to know they're fake, right? Because for me personally, you just can't get titties that look that good that are natural in my mind. So
and
it's
fake
like
tits feel like concrete. Like,
well, yeah, there's a different texture, of course, 100%.
Yeah, like, my boobs are hard as rock.
But I feel like
it's not natural.
Yeah, these are not natural too. But I feel like fake tits are one of the things where it still looks good unnatural. Let's say. Whereas if you got a nose job and it looked really unnatural, then you probably wouldn't like that appearance, right? So I think there's a bit of a difference there. And it's like, why? I don't know. I think society over time starts to create certain standards and expectations or things that they're okay with. And I think you're right. Maybe a nose job or boob jobs back in the day had more stigma around it for women. Now it's so normal, right? It's so normal for people to get it done. And maybe that's where it's going for men. I know specifically for men, there are some, let's say, cosmetic procedures that are more acceptable. Like if someone was to enhance their body through steroids, for example, I feel like that's a little more natural these days. Whereas if they were to get like a pec implant, everyone's going to be like, what the fuck? That's so weird. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And hair transplant, I think, is much more normal now.
Yeah,
it's like less stigmatized, right?
Because people want hair. Yeah. Makes sense.
So I think there's other things, as you mentioned, like cosmetically, if guys are starting to get Botox, that is something that's like, hang on.
Yeah, some do now.
Exactly. Right. So
I think that's fine.
Yeah, I think it just goes back to beauty standards and it evolves over time and it's different. And I think it's more acceptable for women at this point to enhance their beauty. You know, women were using makeup a long time ago, right? So that cosmetic journey started a long time ago.
Back in the day, men did wear makeup.
Did they really? I didn't know that.
I feel like this might need to be fact checked, but I'm pretty sure back in the day, men wore makeup.
Damn.
Like back.
Like,
I don't know, 1800s and maybe talking maybe even like Egypt times. Like I'm pretty sure men wore
some
eyeliner
Egyptians
and
seem
stuff.
like they were some fucking good looking dudes, no?
I'm pretty sure men wore makeup once upon a time, and then somehow it became something for women. I'm assuming that the 1900s and the rise of TV and marketing made it something that was for women.
Yeah.
But I'm more than certain that way back when that men also wore makeup or even just fake, anything on their face.
Yeah, and I guess I'm trying to think out loud here, but I guess like a lot of makeup and beauty is made towards appearing more feminine.
Yeah,
so like the blush cheeks.
I think that's marketing.
Yeah.
I think the stigma comes from it being marketed to women.
Maybe you're right. Although,
I
think
there was, I swear I seen something on maybe TikTok and it was like makeup that was like, it was like an ad in, I want to say maybe it was like one of the Asian countries like Japan. They're living in like the year 3000 over there. So it's probably from them. And it was like a makeup ad that was like for men. It was like a makeup for men thing. And I went like crazy on TikTok or something.
I have seen there is makeup for men called like war paint or something like that. Like they try to really advertise it towards like masculinity, and from what I saw it was like concealer type sort of makeup and stuff like that. So yeah, maybe, who knows, maybe in like 20 years every dude's gonna be wearing some makeup. And
I reckon it's heading that way.
Yeah,
honestly, because look, men are starting to be like a little bit more feminine than back in the day. I'm not saying that as an insult, but just generally, like back in the day, men were quite, masculine
but I think that's a problem actually.
It's not so, but I don't necessarily think so.
I think there is a problem to that. I think there is. I think, look, there's going to be different points on this. I think as general, men are becoming more feminized. And
because men are mostly working indoors now as well. I think that's probably the main reason for it. When you have a desk job and you're in a nice, pretty suit and you got to be nicely neat shaven and everything all day, that's a more feminine look. Like the corporate look is a more feminine look.
Yeah, okay, there's some truth to that. I agree. But I think, look, you can still, I don't know. I'm thinking out loud here because I'm kind of torn. I think men are becoming a little bit too feminized, and I think that is a problem in society. But I also think there's no problem with if you want to have cosmetic surgery as a dude, right? So I'm torn.
So you're torn.
But we'll see. We'll see.
Well, maybe I'll come back 2 weeks time. You can absolutely be masculine and get things done. Like, I mean, of course, so like steroid use, that's
exactly. That's a good example.
Yeah. And a lot of those steroid use guys, I'm telling you, they're probably the ones getting the Botox and things like that. Oh, for sure. Yeah. And the laser. Tans, and all of that stuff.
You make a good point. All right, easy. There you go. There are our thoughts. What do we got? Sex fact?
I do.
All right. Sex fact of the week. Let's hear it.
The most amount of orgasms in an hour on record is 134.
Impressive. Well done.
I reckon I could beat that.
I reckon, actually, I think that's beatable.
I reckon I could give myself an orgasm in like 10 seconds. I reckon I could do that 134
in an hour. That's because a bit over 2 minutes. I've
got a real sensitive vagina. Yeah. I can make myself orgasm super quickly.
Yeah.
I reckon I could beat that.
All right. So who
is timing this though? Like if I say I want to challenge this, who do I call?
Exactly.
Who do I call and say,
like,
and do they have to hook up my vajayjay?
Yeah. They could also
hook up my vagina and be like,
do you know what's super interesting? They did a study on orgasms, and they actually had someone in a is it called a PET scan? I forget fMRI. I think it is functional magnetic whatever. Anyway, so they hook up your brain essentially to a monitor, and they can see the brain activity of the orgasm. So I mean, maybe we need an episode where we get everyone in to try break sexual records. We'll get you made in for the coming challenge. How far can you come? We'll have you 100.
But we're going to need some safety goggles and some hard hats.
Yeah, we'll need some safety goggles. Because we'll get Guinness World Records in.
It is dangerous.
I reckon that's beatable, yo. All right. Challenge accepted.
Have you measured your cum yet since episode 1 or 2?
I've been curious.
How have you not done that yet?
I just
we said in episode, it was like episode 2.
Yeah. I mean, as you know,
next time you're with the girl, you say, babe, hold on.
Get the tape measure out.
Put your safety goggles and your hard hat on, babe.
All right, next time I'm going to, it's not on my mind, I'm going to be honest, when I'm fucking, but next time.
Can you put a post-it note behind your bed?
That's a good idea, actually.
That says, measure cum.
The girl's like, why is there a sign saying measure? Don't worry about it.
Or can you break your tantric streak?
Oh, yeah,
just
100%.
to do
I'll do it for this.
A special wank measure.
Exactly. No, straight up. We'll get the tape measure out and post-it notes going up today.
I don't need to be there, but...
No. Well, that's fine. I'm going to record it.
I mean, I can be there.
You can hold it out. You can measure it. It'll be great. Maybe this weekend, sex party. We'll walk around with tape measures. Everyone's like, why have you got a tape measure?
You got a tape measure and a ruler.
Yeah, she has high standards, okay? That's why.
It's not to measure your junk.
Yeah, exactly, All right, so, we'll need to measure that. We'll try beat 134, whatever it was. All right, this is, we need it. Like, end of the year show where we break all the records. I think that'll be the goal.
Oh my God.
All right, it's going to happen. All righty, guys. Thank you so much for joining us again this week. I hope you got a little bit out of our sexting talk. Hope you're all what is it? DTS.
DTS.
If you want to find more of us, where can they find us, Kat?
Yep. So you can follow me on Instagram, Katija Cortez, or we've got a TikTok and Instagram page that is Kat and Mark Show.
Perfect.
How can they find you? Is your website up?
Yeah, it is. www.orgasmicblisscoaching.com. You can find me there. Otherwise, we'll catch you guys next week.
Oh, wait. Please submit questions to the show. If you want to be a part of the show, you can message us on Instagram or wherever.
Happy days.
And that's it.
Perfect. Thanks so much. Catch you guys.